So now in this section, we are going to learn how to create the modal bottom sheet in Flutter. A modal bottom sheet is basically used to show some supplementary content on the UI, and it just appears from the bottom of the scaffold. And in this test project, we have a simple elevator button at the center of the scaffold. When we click this, a simple modal bottom sheet appears from the bottom of the scaffold, and that's how our modal bottom sheet looks like. And it is used to show some supplementary content or some extra content on the UI, like to do some extra navigation in here or to create your user profile also in here. So now we are going to learn how to create this in our Flutter application. So again, initially we have nothing in our simple Flutter application but a simple app bar within some text of modal bottom sheet. So down here in the body of the scaffold, we are going to have a center widget. In the child of the center widget, we are going to have an elevated button and onPress method where we are calling our show bottom sheet method, and in the child of this elevated button we have some text of modal bottom sheet. So now let's go and create this method. So we got this method with open body, and in here we will return the show modal bottom sheet where it accepts the context which is coming from our stateful widget and the builder. It also accepts a content and the open body as this is a function, and in the builder this will return a simple container. After this, Ctrl S to hot reload, and we got this modal bottom sheet button in here, and when you click this, a simple modal bottom sheet will appear which by default takes the height of 60% of our screen. And you can also set your manual height to this modal bottom sheet. So after setting this property of container to 300, Ctrl S to hot reload and close this by clicking this upper area. So this will disappear. Click again this, and you can see we got 300 height, which is a fixed height for our modal bottom sheet. So now let's go further and create the child property of the container. In the child property of the container, we are going to have the column widget as we want some content aligned vertically. If you want some content aligned vertically, and in the children property which accepts the list of widget, here we will pass the text widget, and let's paste some dummy text inside this string of the text widget. So we got this dummy text in our text widget, and after this Ctrl S to hot reload and open the modal bottom sheet, and we got this text in here. But as this size of the modal bottom sheet is fixed, so if we paste this dummy text more in here and Ctrl S to hot reload, close this, open this up, so this will throw the render flow exception just because it has the maximum height of 300 and we are passing a lot of the text in here which overflow the max height of this container. So now to overcome this issue, simply replace a column with the list view. After this, Ctrl S to hot reload and close this modal bottom sheet, open this up, and you can see we got a scrollable view in here, but here it has the fixed width for our modal bottom sheet and it's scrollable. Now you can also explore the other properties of the modal bottom sheet, like we want to have some rounded borders for our modal bottom sheet. So for that we have the property of which accepts the shape border, where we will pass the widget rounded rectangle border, and inside this it has the property of border radius, and we simply access the vertical constructor of the border radius class, and in here in the top property we will do radius.circular, and in the radius we will pass some radius we want. It accepts the double value, so we will pass, let's say 20. Now Ctrl S to hot reload, close this and open this up, and you can see we got some rounded borders in here. So now let's go back, and if we move this 300 height, manual height from this container, or let's comment this out and Ctrl S to hot reload, close this and open this up, and you can see this got the only 60% height of our screen, which is by default height of the modal bottom sheet widget. And also here is one more thing, let's again replace this list view with the column and remove some text and leave only some text in the text widget. So now after this, if you Ctrl S to hot reload, close this and open this up, this will still give us the 60% height of this modal bottom sheet. That is because that is the default height of the modal bottom sheet. To overcome this, we have again the property of main axis size of the column, and it is by default the main axis size that max. So here we will set main axis size that min, so that the column will ignore the upcoming constraints from the parent, but it will take only the size that is required by the children of this column. Now after this, Ctrl S to hot reload, close this and open this up, and you can see this took only the space that is required by the children of this column. So now you know how to give the only size that is required by the children of the column to our model bottom sheet, you simply have to set this to min. Now let's comment this out to give it its manual 60% height, just like this. So now let's again increase the text in here. So again we got back our dummy text. Now after this, Ctrl S to hot reload and open this model bottom sheet, and we got the height of the model bottom sheet according to the height required by the children of the column. Just because of this property of main exercise, we set this to min. So now there are some other properties of the model bottom sheet that are the enable drag property. So what it means? It means that if we click this model bottom sheet and if we drag it down, so you can see we have dragged it down and this disappears and close our model bottom sheet. So to disable this behavior of this model bottom sheet, we can simply set this enable drag to false. Now Ctrl S to hot reload, open this model bottom sheet, and you can see now we cannot drag it down to close it, and this is only dismissible when we click this upper area. So now to also disable this behavior, we have the property of is dismissible and simply also set this to false. Now after this, Ctrl S to hot reload and open the model bottom sheet, and you can see now the model bottom sheet is not disappearing by dragging it down, and simply if you click this upper area, so this will not be dismissible. So that's how also these two properties of the model bottom sheet works. So now let's comment them out. Ctrl S to hot reload or hot restart your application, and again click this, and now this can be dismissible by dragging it down, and also to click this upper area. And also to give the customized height to our model bottom sheet, first of all let's comment this main exercise out, and after this Ctrl S to hot reload, open this up, and this has got again its by default size. So now let's increase the text here to get again the render flow exception. So let's go in here and copy that much text and simply paste it again 3 more times. Ctrl S to hot reload, close this, open this up, and you can see we got again the render flow exception. So now to allow this model bottom sheet to get the customized height, we will set the property of model bottom sheet that is scroll controlled, and simply set it to true. So after setting this scroll control to true, now this model bottom sheet is allowed to get more space than its default space, that was 60% of the screen. Now Ctrl S to hot reload and open this up, and you can see this got all the space just like this. And now you can go back and uncomment this main exercise of the column, and Ctrl S to hot reload, close this and open this up, and this again got the space that is required by the children of the column. But now if you increase this more text, like copy this and paste it, let's say 5 times, just like this, Ctrl S to hot reload, close this, open this up, and this is getting more and more space, but the default 60% screen height as it was taking it is overridden as we have set this scroll control to true. And also if you want to change the background color of the model bottom sheet, you can also use this property and change the model bottom sheet background color. And let's say we set it to white, and it's already white, but you can also set it to other colors you like or according to the theme of your app. So after this, let's also comment this scroll control to true and open this up, and to make it scrollable, again put the list view in here, or you can also uncomment this main exercise, so this render flow exception will also be gone on setting this main exercise to min of the column. But let's say we want some scrollable view, Ctrl S to hot reload again and open this up, and you can also put some list styles in here in the list view, and simply by using navigator push and your navigator push named your routing to navigate to some other page, and you can also show some other supplementary information of your app in here at the bottom model sheet. So if you want to know more about this model bottom sheet, so head over to flutter.dev. Here you will find more useful documentation written by the professional Flutter developers.